So January 15th, 2019, it was the Dusit D2 terror attack. It claimed 21 civilians. And not only was it, as we've mentioned severally, a dark day, just in terms of lives lost and lives disrupted, but there was also a vulnerability that was exposed on how Kenya's so-called soft targets are. So the state cited improved response compared to Westgate, something we mentioned earlier, but at the same time, we're trying to think through how prepared are security agencies. They're the ones essentially who are at the front lines. They're the ones who are initially the victims of these. So today, we're not just commemorating the lives, but we're also trying to speak about security and how prepared security agencies are, but also reflecting on the losses that they incurred around that time.
Yeah, to help us look at this conversation, let's look at a section of our society that is usually often ignored, and yet they are, the first ones who deal with such insecurity matters. The private security service providers. Dr. Francis Shiyukah is the Chief Executive Officer of the Kenya Security Industry Association. He's here to talk to us about the experience of these private security officials and even the companies. If you imagine Dusit, when these guys got out of their cars, on the driveway into 14 Riverside, the first people that they encountered there were the people who were queuing for security checks and the security officers. And then they go into the second gate and they also find security officers. As they're going into the buildings, they're finding security officers. And this is an issue that even in Westgate, it was the same. At Garissa University, it was the same. The people who were first shot at the gate are the police officer and the security officers who were providing security. So what's it from the perspective of the security officers? Dr. Shiyukah, thank you very much for joining us.
Most welcome, most welcome.
You will take us through that, first of all, the association, and now taking us back into the Dusit and the lessons learned since then. But what we like to do is we welcome our guest with the day's quote. Janet is going to give you a quote, some words that were said by somebody, and let's see whether they make sense to you today. If they do, say yes, and how. Okay. If they don't, say no.
And then move on.
And how.
Either way, your answer is the truth. Yvonne Adhiambo Owor once said that after Mboya, Kenya's official languages are English, Kiswahili, and silence.
I think so.
You think so?
I think so.
Yeah? Okay.
Why? Why do you think so?
I want to think so because our language is English. And silence speaks more than even, it speaks more than speaking or arguing. When you ask something from somebody and somebody keeps quiet, sometimes you may think that this person has ignored, but maybe he's thinking through on how best to do it. And at the end of the day, he might be able to come up and surprise you. So silence speaks more than volume.
Wow.
I want to believe so.
Well said.
Often than not, we have people who are good speakers. They want to speak, but more words may not mean anything. They may mean maybe even less. Now, first of all, I want to say I regret that Dusit incident. Maybe may I start by introducing myself again? You have introduced me. My name is Francis Shiyukah. I am the of Kenya Security Industry Association, an association that is overlooking all private security fraternity in this country. And you know that wherever you go, before you see a police, you'll see a private security person. So we really hold a lot, even before the security comes in. Secondly, as you are aware, we even outnumber the police. We are more than 1 million. The police are maybe around 700 or thereabout. So we really are very important when it comes to matter security. And having said that, we complement the national security. How do we complement the national security? We share information. We have set trainings to be able to turn around our security fraternity. Because before that Dusit and the Westgate, our security existed, yes, but maybe the way they were conducting their activities, we felt it was not maybe sufficient. So in this, we now say, okay, we will intensify training to be able to empower these people to know how to detect a crook from an upright person, to know how to detect a new person who has come into this area or this hotel or this housing fraternities that we have all around. So as it is now, we have intensified training after the Dusit. Because why? Our people are the people who are on the first run. They're the people who first encounter security threats. They're the people who know who is good, who has a hidden agenda in this area.
How do you know that?
If you go to Europe, for instance, I want to say this. If you go to Europe, you will be known. Once you have landed in Europe, you are staying in a particular area. They will want to know who you are. How long are you staying there? But in Africa, it's not there. In Africa, it's different. If you come in, you'll stay in Arab West, you'll stay in Karen, you'll stay in Langata. Nobody's interested. The only person interested is the one who is your host. But now, because of that, we have been encountering a lot of security caps. Yeah, you can see people come in a hotel, they become friendly to our security guards, they become friendly to all hotel staff or workers as it is, but they have a hidden agenda. They know what they're looking for.
So let me ask this, Dr. Shiyukah. I want us to look at before Dusit attack.
Yes.
And after Dusit attack.
Yes.
Because you've told us after Dusit and all these other attacks, the industry realized the need to enhance some things. So before Dusit, and we had very many security companies employing security guards all over.
Yes.
First of all, was there any training curriculum, uniform training curriculum, such that somebody employed by company A and the other one employed by company B are the same kind of training?
Right. Thank you very much. Now, you see, private security operates under the Private Security Act of 2016. That tells you that now private security came into act professionally after 2016. Right. Now, before that, the training that has been there is that every security provider has got their own type of training. They used to train their people. But now, with the initiative of Private Security Act of 2016, we had now Private Security Regulatory Authority, which we call PSRA popularly. Now, when they came in, they said, now we want to develop a common training that is uniform across the board, so that all these security officers, we call them security officers, not security guards anymore, so that all these security officers are subject to being professionally trained under that syllabus.
Okay.
Remember, we also have other training institutions. We have the NIT and so forth, so on, which we don't want to mention here now. But then, private security training comes from Private Security Regulatory Authority, which is a supervisory body under Ministry of Interior.
So now there's a curriculum.
Now there's a curriculum.
Okay. Is there an institution or registered institutions for training this?
Now, the private security licensed many training institutions or providers. For example, we have 2 or 3 in Mombasa, we have one in Nakuru, in Kisumu, and Eldoret. They are all licensed, but performing under the Private Security Regulation Direction.
Okay.
Yes.
Sorry, these are the ones that are licensed.
Yes.
They are private security companies.
Yeah, private security companies, but then you are given a license to operate as purely training now.
Okay.
Remember, people who come into private security business, there are those who have the muscle to have their own training. There are those who don't have the muscle. Now, those who don't have the muscle, either they have to work together with those that have good training institutions in their own Right. Those who don't have, they now have to be subject to go to training companies licensed by Private Security Regulatory Authority, PSRA.
Okay.
Yes.
Let me get into now quality control and graduation, sort of. So then there's a curriculum, there's these licensed security agencies that can do the training, even on behalf of others that don't have, the facilities.
Yes.
Then, what's the pass or the...
Is there a common exam?
Is there a common exam? Yeah, because we can be using the same curriculum, but in
Right.
very different schools and then have different outcomes.
These people are trained, and before they are considered to be qualified, they undertake an exam. That exam, when they undertake that exam, it is then, because then, you see, it is a private regulatory authority, PSRA, who developed this curriculum.
Yeah.
Therefore, they knew what they were looking for. Number one, you remember, people say that private security is composed of people who are Form 4 leavers, who came from the villages. They come here and, they're deployed at the malls, at the entertainment, sports, and so forth, so on. And therefore, it was important, it was incumbent upon the supervisory body, Private Security Regulatory Authority, to develop a curriculum, which they did.
Yes.
And therefore, before somebody is employed, you employ a security officer. Before he is deployed in an assignment, is properly trained, undertakes an exam, perceived to have qualified, is then when he is unleashed, is then given what we call cat force number, or GFN.
Okay.
Before you are given that cat force number, you are perceived to have qualified.
Is the exam uniform across the board?
Yes, it is
Okay.
uniform. It is uniform.
Is there
If-
somewhere we can check which security or private security agencies
Is a licensed trainer.
a licensed trainer? Yes.
Where you have to check is when you go to any premises, either supermarket, either school or whatever, you find the security card, you will see they have got the GFN on their chest.
A badge number on their chest.
But that badge number, you cannot be given if you have not qualified. And it only comes again from the same Private Security Regulatory Authority, who again unleashed the syllabus. That tells you that they give you only that number when you have satisfied their
condition.
requirements.
What is intelligence sharing like between private security firms and the state? How does that work?
It works, I will say, magically. Today, if you go to any mall, go to Westgate, go to any mall, any church, wherever, you think there is no security. The only people you are seeing are the private security officers because they are in uniform. But remember, there are even ununiformed police officers there. There are also uniformed police officers there. So there is a lot of enhanced security in any infrastructure, just to keep off any other threat that might come
Let me build
around.
on that question. There were reports that indicated that there was a threat prior to Dusit, and this is from various agencies, but they were not acted on, reportedly. Then the attack happened. My question to you is, number one, is that also, I don't know how much you can admit, whether you can admit it. Number two, how much now has it been enhanced before Dusit and after Dusit?
You see, in a terrorism, call them any name, call them whatever it is, but the only name they are not called is that they are smart people. Terrorism. You can call them whatever you want, but they're not stupid.
They're not buffoons.
They're not fools. You know, for somebody to steal from you, must be clever than you are. He has looked what can prevent you, what can make sure that he who wants to steal with you can be discovered. He seals all those loopholes before he comes to steal. Now, terrorism, there are people who are working around the clock. They don't sleep. And because you don't hear nowadays, don't think that they are sleeping. It's just that the enhancement of security, both national security and private security, is sharing that vital information. It's very important because private security have got this information. They know who has come into this estate. They know who has come into this company. They know who has come into this infrastructure. And they share. When they see, for example, in Kilimani, often than not, you find there a lot of visitors, maybe from other neighboring African states who come there. I don't want to mention names. They come there. But how are they discovered? It's because of the sharing of this information from private security officers to the police. We have got a very vibrant courtier sharing relationship. And that's the only information that helps the national police to be able to stop these threats. And that's why you cannot hear a lot of them.
Okay. I want to get into a little bit of that, which is the information sharing, but also like the changing face of terror, essentially. The terrorists are evolving, their methods are evolving, technology is evolving. So what worked perhaps in 2020 may not work in 2025.
Exactly.
How is the private security sector adapting to the changing face of terror and the changing tactics and all the technology that can now be employed for terrible purposes?
The private security, before, we employed people with less training. Today, I want to tell you, people employed in private security are people with qualified degrees, are people with security diplomas, there are people with certificate diplomas, there are people with high-tech information who they are now trained to be able to detect, to be able to know, to differentiate between the upright and the crooked characters. They are now trained on how to use equipment to be able to search both human and motor entering into certain infrastructure, for example, supermarkets, churches, schools, and malls, and so forth, so on. And those are some of the things that we have now improvised now to be able to improve our security search. And that's why we have reduced, like she was asking, we have reduced the level of threats that it is. But just to tell you that even now, you go at the private security regulatory authority, people who are employed there now are qualified fellows. They're actually educated fellows. People employed in associations, they're educated. Even security officers now, they're educated. And now we are improvising all this information all the time. After every 2-3 months, we keep training and retraining them. We keep training and retraining them on a matching or any possible threats that would come around. And therefore we diffuse.
I'm asking that because I don't see many changes in like the basic security procedures. There could be things happening behind, the scenes that you're not aware of. But like you think of entering any establishment, since Westgate, it's been the same thing. It's the scanner, or the wand, and beyond that,
there's a registration. Well, in some office buildings, there's a registration.
Yes.
Some like malls, there's no registration. But then there's CCTV and all.
Yeah.
But beyond that, what
else?
What else is new?
Did you know the security enhancement in Kenya is more superior than any other African country, so to say? That I want to tell you. You can go to any other African states, and what is happening here, you will not see it happening elsewhere. Now, what's happening within our supervisory checking is that we check it, but with cautious. Because today, if you walked in a mall, you are asked to give your ID. You leave your ID there. Somebody takes your ID. Somebody takes the details of that ID. So somebody can use the same ID again to be able to
commit a crime.
To commit a crime. So because of that, we don't really emphasize that. But we have CCTVs. We have trained these security officers now to be able to read the activities on the CCTVs at all the time. We have control rooms within security providers. Now, the link between the field security officers and the control room is very vibrant. Vibrant in the sense that you will come, maybe if there is a threat, maybe at a particular building, those people are attacked. Now, once you attack those people, the control room behind which works in cahoot with the security service at the premises. They know what's happening. Therefore, they are able to summon the police to be able to defuse that or to act on that very, very quickly.
Let me paint a picture of what we've read and seen in the news from Westgate coming all the way, right?
Yes.
Is that these perpetrators, and even from the court records, these perpetrators, first of all, took time to case the areas they were going to attack, to know how to enter, the weak points, and so on and so forth. So they were coming in. Of course, they were sending not necessarily this guy called Gishunge who came to Dusit, but there were other people who were coming and gathering information, and then going and then creating and designing how they were going to attack. So, deterring such incidences is intelligence gathering. I mean, intelligence is the weapon to deter these attacks. So, just paint for me a picture of how different it is now that we have trained and registered and licensed security officers in all our premises, offices, malls, markets, housing estates, and so on and so forth. How different is it that now a security officer will be able to detect that this person is actually suspicious. They are casing this, and I need to find out why they're doing what they're doing.
Thank you very much. The case with Dusit came out because if you look at the way Dusit is structured, it has one entrance and one exit. Yeah. These people looked at other hotels. They had been to other hotels, by the way. But I think they came up with a view that this hotel with one exit and one entrance is then suitable for us. And therefore, of course, you cannot say it was only Chunge who used to come there. These people have got a lot of money available to be able to contract other people to come and gather information. Yeah. And now, when these people came in, for example, they started at the gate shooting innocent people, so that now everybody is taken back inside there. It's just because of the structure of the hotel, one exit one. But now we have trained our security officers to be able to understand if somebody comes to you today, he becomes a friend. Habari mzuri, namna gani sasa niache, wewe unasikia njaa, can you have something? We have told them, and now they know that people who come in good faith, they are not especially meant, or they don't mean good to you. They must be having something. So we have trained our people to be able, once such characters now start coming their way, they now have their supervisors. They now push these issues to the supervisors. There is APCT people who come here and they are very friendly, and we want you now to look after them. Don't forget, we have now an plain clothed police officers there also. They share this information. So the police officers now take it upon themselves now to start tracking these people, to be able to see they have come in, they are going, where are they going, what is their intention, did they come to a hotel or not? So that training alone, training on how to detect the crooked and the upright characters is up in our syllabus. What we are doing now today, for example, if you came to a hotel today, you come back again tomorrow, you come back the following day, they go to review the CCTV to be able to see this person keeps coming here. What is it after? What is the name of this person? What is he after? Then that information is shared by the security agencies. Security agencies takes upon itself. And I want to say I am proud because it has worked. Don't think that these people are silent. Don't think that they're afraid of coming to stage another threat. No, it's just because they are unable, because I think the security agencies have stepped up their game.
I'm thinking through the intelligence part of it, and it's to what both of you have spoken to and what you just spoke to at the tail end there. And it's good that that information is getting passed up the chain, and our security agencies are then able to take action. I'm now thinking through, intelligence is, how would I say, it's countrywide essentially.
Yes.
And it's everywhere. You know, every place where there's two or more people, that is essentially a place you could gather intelligence of some sort. How then does the private sector, when it comes to security, help, what would I say, bolster this kind of like nyumba kumi type of intelligence gathering?
In fact, community policing, which is essentially nyumba kumi, yeah, we every estate nowadays, you go there is nyumba kumi, there is some people there, there is leadership there. And even those security officers at the gate, they report to the leader of the nyumba kumi, whichever estate you go. Don't think it's just free like that. And that is how, because nyumba kumi or community policing has really helped, and it's really helping to be able to detect who among us is of goodwill, who among us has bad intention or hidden intention. And that's really working very well. Apart from nyumba kumi, you remember private security are not armed. And that's why our information is relied now upon, because we can do nothing. Somebody attacks you, is armed, he says you, Lalachini, you'll go down because you want to save your life also. Yeah. But we are telling these people, or the training has told these people, that the only way to save you, not to slip down, to be able to slip down, is to gather that information quickly and put it to the national police, so that the police agencies can now act on it, so that they diffuse it before it comes in. And it's really working magic.
So the pitch here is that it prevents,
yes,
and helps you and guards you. The regulator, the Private Security Regulatory Authority, when it came in and says, okay, so we are going to harmonize this sector, coming up with standard, registration framework, training framework, and also even raising the minimum wage.
Yes.
Right? So let's talk about the welfare of private security officers.
So funny, I had literally written remuneration. And then question mark.
Right?
Yeah.
What are the regulations now on the minimum wage for a private security officer?
Well, it's a sensitive one. It's a sensitive one. Why is sensitive? The minimum wage is a government regulation. It was enacted by Parliament, and it can only again be acted upon by Parliament. It was passed that 30,000 is what is perceived to be the minimum wage for private security.
30,000 gross per month.
Yeah, gross per month. But now, that being what has been enacted by Parliament, it cannot be compromised. It cannot be debated upon. It cannot. Now, recently, we have worked on drafting new private security regulation. I have been very central. I have been at the center of it. We have been going to Mombasa, working completely closely with the Private Security Regulation Authority to draft new regulations, which touches, of course, on all those things. Touches on the welfare of the employer, touches on the welfare of the employee, touches on the welfare of the security in Kenya as a whole. We have LEPA, which is supposed to implement and enforce that, and they're doing a good job because they are making sure that that one is really made. However, I think at the moment, our economy has not been performing very well. We have not reached there, but that is the position. 30,000 crores is what is the legal wage for private security officers.
So that's what is required.
Yes.
Legally.
Legally.
Right?
It is.
And what I'm hearing you saying is that as an industry, you then telling your officers that there are some companies that will not be able to reach this 30,000. There are those that are able to reach the 30,000 and above for some offices,
Yes.
and maybe not for others.
Yes,
Okay?
yes.
But what is the future of it? I mean, what's the association doing? You see, your association, you're representing the employer here. You represent the companies. These are the employers, okay? The union represents the workers. But now you as an employer who knows that this is the law and this is the workload that is required of my officers, what is the industry doing to see that you get as close as possible to the 30K?
Yes. What we are doing and what we have requested private security regulatory authority, they have to come in to be able to help us make our employers to reach this step. And this is the way. You see, if you come at Nation here, I've seen Harvard Security is at Nation here. And I want to tell you that you are not paying what enables Harvard Security to pay 30,000 to that askari. And why are you not paying that? Nation. You may not have the answer now. But what we are saying is this, that yes, 30,000 gross is the minimum wage. There is no negotiation about that. It's a comment and that's it. But now, where the procurer of these private security services, are they sensitized to people to know that if you want to go and procure a service from APCT security company, you must have this. So we are then saying private security regulatory authority and the associations should sensitize the procurer, including Nation. That Nation, if you want somebody to stand there from 6 to 6, please pay around 55 or 60,000 so that the company can work backwards to be able to pay the 30,000. Failure to that, then don't go for that service. So that sensitization, that training ought to come from PSRA and the associations to the procurer of these services, so that once you know, there's no negotiation. But what's happening today is you tender that service. So somebody comes in and says, yes, I can take 25,000. Another one comes say, I can take 40,000. Another one comes say, no, I can take even 20. Now, if you take 20, how much will you pay the security guard? You see, so this is a matter that is very sensitive now. Sensitive in the sense that procurer of security services need to be sensitized to know that if you want to procure a service, this is the amount to pay. And no going back. So that training is what is going to help this industry.
But Shiyukah, if you are to be employed, the Nation Media Group as head of security,
yes,
right?
Yes.
You'd be the one advising the management on how to procure security services.
Correct.
Okay?
Correct.
Pitch the case. Now you are working on this other side. You're the procurer. Pitch the case to the management and the board on why they ought to pay around 40 to 50,000 shillings per guard.
So that by the time it
Yes.
trickles down.
Pitch the case. I mean, I'm not saying that it's impossible. I'm just saying how best would you, I mean, what are these things that you'd say, this is the value that you get.
You see.
And this is what you lose if you don't go here.
You see, many procure of these services now, they are going that direction. Because you see, if you poorly pay your card, what you are telling this security officer is to look for other means of getting money to
supplement the income.
To supplement the income. And that's why now the PPRA, they are ensuring that those procuring these services, they also encourage these companies to be able to ask Nation, for example, if I were a security officer here, I am encouraged to ask the security company Harvard, how much are you paying this card? Is he satisfied? If he's not satisfied, he will not do my job. He will do a substandard job. Therefore, what is the amount that can actually go towards paying this guy so that he feels satisfied, he can now perform his duty. But now, if you are lean on saving for the company, nation, as a security officer now myself, I want to save for nation that we go for the cheap service, it will not work. It will counter work because the service you get will be substandard service. So we are encouraging, we even know, even ministries in this country who are paying below 30, many of them. And we ask, if you ministries are paying below 30,000, how then do you expect us to pay these security officers 30,000? Can you become a role model? Pay above that. So we have encouraged, in the new regulation, we are saying that now the ministries or the government should become a role model in paying what enables security companies. Remember, security companies handle this money in transit. Whatever they collect is not their money. Those millions they collect, there are some people who used to say that security is a business that everybody should go. That those security companies, the owners are driving V8, Pratos and so forth, so on. That's a wrong notion. It's a wrong notion because these people are really suffering. You see, when they think of what they are getting from the service they are providing and what they are supposed to pay the security guard is a very big problem.
The math is not mathing, as we like to say.
It's not matching.
Okay.
So we are even encouraging, if you just give me that, I think that's a very important thing.
You would...
What I would want, with my experience in the industry, is that procurer of those services should also pay money, security companies to be able to pay these people. Because remember, what security companies receive in terms of millions is on transit, is meant to pay the security officers.
Yes.
What is left is a drop of ice.
A management fee or
it's
something
just a
of the
drop
sort.
of ice in
Okay.
the ocean.
Okay.
Really.
I would love to see the actual numbers, but I don't doubt you. I just wanted to divert a little bit because, and even away from terror specifically as a security threat to something that's becoming a security threat, which is crowd control and poor crowd control, especially at large events, public events. You can see it with the funeral of the late Honorable Right Honorable Raila Odinga. Sorry, we saw that, but that was essentially not private security, although there may have been private security forces, but it was largely the state. But then again, in concerts, we saw the loss of life of a young woman at a concert just a month ago. And we've seen it happen over and over again. Is crowd control part of the training of private security officers?
It is. These people are trained all round. They're trained all round. Much as they're not armed, but they're trained on how to assist, control the crowd. But remember, there is a law. Even today, our national police officers, many of them have been taken to court for either shooting. They say, yes, you have got a weapon, but why did you shoot? But there's some people who are unbecoming. You have been seeing on the road when the changes were demonstrating. Even some of them go to the extent of I don't know what I can say. They go mocking the police. This kind of thing. Now, but the police is armed. Some police are even at risk. Some of them were even beaten. You have seen that. When they are really doing their job honestly, the police, they have come there to control the crowd, do their job honestly. The police will not watch the Gen Z to come here and start dismantling or even hitting a journalist or even trying to size the camera of a journalist. Let me move
from that one back to the crowd control issue, because that wasn't a crowd control issue so much. Yes, there were isolated cases of people taunting the police. That's true. But then again, that speaks to police training, because you should be able to de-escalate a situation, not escalate it, unless you're, in imminent danger. And again, these were largely unarmed young people. But I want to get back to now the question of crowd control, which is, it's essentially private security companies that are often hired to do crowd control at public functions, at concerts, at whatever it may be.
Correct.
And then the lapses happened. So then that's why I'm asking if there's training around crowd control, because even the basics of you've just given us one entrance, one exit.
Yes.
That was exactly what caused the life of, I'll get her name, I think it was
at
Karen.
the concert,
Yes,
Karen.
at the concert.
Yeah,
Karen, it was Karen, yes.
Karen.
Yes. It was essentially that. It was a mammoth of people going through one entrance.
Yes,
and
yes.
Nyayo Stadium
Stampede,
is Nyayo Stadium is it has maybe 10 gates. I think there's about like 9 gates or 8 in Nyayo Stadium.
No, 12 gates.
It's 12 gates. So then what are the lapses? Because these are private security agencies that are employed to do security and crowd control.
Yes, you see, there are people who sometimes, I just don't know how you can control them. And there are some people who, even when they know they're doing wrong, they really want to do it. They really want to do it. For example, when you go in a crowd, you are meant to sit these people in an organized manner. Say, please, when you come in, sit, or when you come in, queue, so that you can come and pass. Yeah? But you see others, they bypass the queue and they want to come, toka huko, nataka kuingia. They push you around in this kind of thing. Now, you can do nothing other than trying to either close the door, and if you close the door, then that's when now you are calling for these people to come and have stampede there.
I have to push back on that because, and I'm not even talking about, let's even go from the security officer on the ground to this is an entire security company that has been hired. You do know that there are 12 gates, 12 ways to enter Nyayo National Stadium, but you only open one, or you only allow entrance through one. That's already a problem. You've created a choke point. It's even without having any knowledge of security, that's already an issue. And it's not just this last concert, it's over and over again. And then it's delays in ticketing, whatever things happen, but then you allow people to then rush in at once. You essentially create the stampede when there could have been crowd management moves. Even the basics of barriers, just having, if people walk in a maze, they don't stampede, right? Putting up little barriers. And again, private security agencies are hired to do crowd control. Leave alone the security officer who may be at the gate, who can get overwhelmed by a crowd, but there is a larger entity that essentially should have done crowd control, should have known there's 10,000 people coming. How do we get them in here safely and out safely?
Now, what's really happening, for example, just take that scenario. Number one, there is the aspect of income for the organizers of that event, for example. They also want to make sure that they get the value of their, all right? And then now, when you hire people to come in, you also are looking at the cost of hiring the security officers to come in and give that kind of sufficient protection. Now, because there is the balance between how much I should spend to bring in how many people to be able to come and, to people to come and sufficiently organize these people so that they can enter in an organized manner. Maybe you hire a few individuals. Okay, when you talk of the barriers, for example, there is the time of an event when they say, this time people start entering now. Other people don't come even that time. They come even late and they want to enter in by force. They come in, they want to enter by force. So you are forced now to be able to limit them. Even if they want to force, you limit them so that you only allow a few to come in, And in due course, when the event starts there, they start hearing that event is going on. Now they start pushing and therefore stampede happens.
But what needs to be done better? Because concerts are going to happen as early as, I don't know, I could even say this or next weekend.
Yes.
And we've seen the same lapses,
Yes.
like Mariam has said, which means you're seeing a pattern.
Yeah.
From where you're sitting, part of it could be, like you're saying, organizers scheming and saying, let's pay little and take home a lot.
Cut
so it's
budgets.
compromising. But from where you sit, because this is something that's going to continue to happen, what do you think needs to shift? Is it better training? Is it spreading out the number of security agencies? Because there needs to be accountability also from the point of security.
You see, people who come in are not people who are trained. They're people who want to come in and enjoy.
Yep.
Purely. They want to come in and enjoy. A few of them have come from school. A few of them are people with their own little money. They want to come in and enjoy. Now, you tell them that this time between 3 o'clock and maybe 4, you should be seated. They will not come at that time. Now, because they will not come at that time, they come at their own time when the event is just about. And the moment they get there, like for example at Nyayo, when they hear that music booming, oh, hell breaks loose. They want to come in by force, you like it or not. So, but I think we, in these organizers, need to increase the number of security officers. But even if you increase, the time they come in at almost a composed time. They don't come in a spread time. If they did, it's an organized manner. There's nothing, no incident will happen. But do they listen? They don't listen. Now they
I'll
train.
push back. I think this is more
It
a
is-
regulation.
it is
a
happening.
regulation thing. If you tell me, for example, global best practice is to have, I don't know, let me guess, 2
Gates
guards.
open 3 hours before.
Gets open, for example, 3-4 hours
Yes,
before.
X number of tickets sold, so X number of people
you
in a queue
capacity,
per
yes.
time, so X number of gates, you know.
And to have 2 security officers for every 50 or 100 people, things like that, right? And for entries, you require barriers that need people to, essentially, so you can't stampede. Like those are things that you can put in place so that even if 1,000 people come in at 1 p.m., it's fine, but you're all going to have to go through.
Yeah, because
some sort of
throwing it
means.
back to, it's the same thing when we were covering the passing of the late Raila Odinga, when people were saying, oh, but people shouldn't. I'm like, people will do what people do.
Yes.
It's not an excuse, but it's human nature. But people will also adjust to boundaries. If you say, no matter how many of you come, and I know organizing companies may not agree, we're locking, you're not coming in. If you try, you'll be arrested. You know what I mean? Like, the measures have to come from the security agencies and organizers. We cannot tell people, we want them to listen. Over time, the boundaries that are put up will force people to adjust. For them to say, I can't just do what I want to do. If they say 3 hours before and I come 2 minutes before the concert, I will not gain access.
Can I ask the question,
Yeah.
Dr. Shiyukah? The same one, in another different way. There's a curriculum for training of security officers, right? Does this curriculum cover how to handle large crowds?
Right.
Okay. Does the curriculum cover, or is there some that says that this is the responsibility given to a junior police officer or security officer, and that there will be a supervisor and there will be a supervisor, and it's the role of the supervisors to do A, B, C, D. For example, designing security arrangements for whatever need there is, right? So that you say that we have a concert or a crusade or whatever, and it's expecting a large, this kind of crowd. There will be somebody whose responsibility it is to design how security is going to be handled and to pass that information down, and there will be a security officer who is acting on instructions. But those instructions are clear and they've been designed such that in such an event, if something awry happened, then we go back into how was the design? Did it meet some standards
Or not.
or not?
You see, control, let's say crowd control measures, is not easy in Kenya. Why? I remember even the AFCON that happened here at Kasarani. I attended 1 or 2, and once you get at the main gate, you are forced to show the ticket. Yes, you show the ticket.
Yeah.
Then now you start coming in. Others come in now, they start running. They want to get there quickly so as to get to sit down. So that now when they get at the gate, they have shown the ticket, and there is a security officer at the gate. Talk away, we want to come in very, very forcefully. Sometimes even they break the gates. But as you are saying, I think there is need to be able to intensify. I think there is need to be able to intensify and people maybe to conduct it in a different way. But there are some incidents which you cannot. For example, look at even the crowd at the Right Honorable Raila Odinga. People who came out, they were unexpected. In that case, you cannot plan How can you plan?
Yeah.
Maybe you will plan for 500 people, but people will come more than 500.
We're almost done. I always will push back at that one forever. I'll just be like, always expect the unexpected. Because you might expect 500, but 10,000 will come.
Will come on
Victim care part of training? Very quickly, because we're almost at time. Both for the agencies, I guess, mental wellness, but also in case, again, we're going back to Dusit or any other threat, is victim care part of the training that security agencies get?
Yes.
Okay.
It is there. And in fact, this is why you see people come in, and those that are injured, they are carried and they are treated aside. So it is taken into care. But even as you take into care, there are some injuries that cannot be handled there.
Yeah.
That need to be handled at a hospital, hospital setup.
All right. Dr. Francis Shiyukah has been our guest as we talked about, lest we forget, the Dusit D2 attack, which marks 7 years tomorrow on the 15th of January. Next, we have Your World. I know they're going to get into feelings. Today it's skin health.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Impact of food, skincare, and lifestyle on skin health. Skin Health 101 is going to be the topic. Always good conversations on Your World. That'll start shortly on NTV and Vibe Shift on Nation FM with Brian Aseli and Claudia Naisaba. But from me, Janet Bogwa, Eric Latif, Mariam Bishar, thank you for staying with Fixing the Nation. We'll see you back here tomorrow.